Jerusalema. Released in 2019, pre-COVID, Master KG and Nomcebo did not know what they were creating as they came together, creating a beat that would change a country and continent and the world. You see, the drum of the beat of Jerusalema became something that harmonized us from all parts of the world. As we were all gathered in our homes, awaiting this pandemic to pass, there was that beat that kept on reminding us that we are connected, we are unified, we are interconnected. A tale of two cities, Dlamini and Birmingham. What could potentially connect these two seemingly distant cities? Apart from the fact that both cities hosted the Jerusalema Challenge, both cities have actually hosted NobuLali Dangazele. Born and bred in the dusty streets of Soweto, Dlamini is not dusty, but for dramatic effect. And now living in the gritty streets of Birmingham, I found myself in an apartment in Birmingham during the lockdown. This was not the plan. When I initially moved to the United Kingdom in 2014, it was to pursue a doctorate in strategy. But this unstrategic VUCA moment completely obliterated all the thoughts and dreams that I had. But the beat of the African soil carried me through that time. You see, the thing about a beat that continuously beats within the music that we listen to when we are singing hymns, or the music that we listen to when we are chanting for our protest, or the music that we listen to when we want to draw ourselves to a moment of celebration and jubilation, is the same beat that we carry in our chest as our hearts beat. Right now, the beat sounds like an amapiano song, very fast-paced, as I think about what it is that I'd like to share about why interconnectedness matters. You see, interconnectedness is one thing that brings us all together. Just like the beat of this drum, beating for the music, there are beats that continuously bring us together, like when we go to a rugby match. When we hear the song of Sister Bettina, our unofficial national anthem, regardless of where you are, something electric happens in the atmosphere. We start singing Shosholoza, we start thinking of what it is that the boys are going to do on the pitch. But in them, we see ourselves. The gold that stands for excellence and the green that stands for growth, for opportunity, and for endless possibilities. You see, when we go onto that stadium, we stop being black, white, from the dusty streets or the pearly streets. We start being a nation unified by one thing, the beat that the boys run towards as they make their way to end the score. That will enable the try that allows us to win. When I think about the stadium at which these sports games take place, it makes me think of an object and an artifact that we had in our home, the calabash. You see, a calabash is something that we use to drink out of, but also something we carry water from one point to another. It's also an ornament that you might place in your household to remind yourself when you're in a foreign country where home is and where you belong. But when you don't know when you can go home again, it becomes scary. When they said 6 weeks will turn into 6 months and then a year, you start thinking to yourself, have I actually entered a point of exile? And am I past the point of no return? The aim was not to immigrate to Birmingham. I loved Dlamini way too much. The aim was a temporary reprieve from the life that I had created in South Africa so that I could go and gain the skills that I would later bring back to South Africa to further develop my country. But as I sat in Birmingham, not knowing when the end of lockdown would come, I had to start accepting my newness, my liminality, the space in between and betwixt. I am not home, but I'm also no longer in a foreign country. Because you see, the thing about living abroad is you make new connections. You find chosen family members. You start finding that the beat that made you get to where you are won't get you to where you need to get to next. So you start finding a different beat, a rhythm that adopts a little bit of your host country whilst remaining true to your home country. I paused and accepted the new norm. NobuLali now lives in the United Kingdom, but she doesn't want to fully assimilate because the beat that got her to where she is in that day is a beat that she actually believes is one that can carry her through to what the potential future could look like. So, away from the dusty streets, away from home, away from family, how do you create a new identity without losing your sense of self? As a researcher, you look to the world. And the world that I was living in showed me that I was not lost, I was not forlorn, but instead, I was found. When I was sitting in Coventry watching Wakanda unfold, I started hearing isiXhosa and thinking, hey, bathetha nami labantu, ndingunobulali, umachayela, umphankomo. Hayini, guys, I see myself in them. Then I go to Stratford-upon-Avon, where there's a different beat, the dee-dum, 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 iambic pentameter, created by Shakespeare, being spoken by Dr. John Kani in isiXhosa. Dathi hayi molweni guys, ndifikile nami. Kanti, what is going on here? Clearly, I am not lost, but I am found. The confidence that started building in me when I realized that I was not in a foreign country, I was not away from home. My host country was slowly starting to welcome me and saying, we're not just inviting you to be a part of this community, we're inviting you to belong. As an actor-producer, I was asked to say, if you were to tell the story of Coventry in 1960, what story could you tell? I thought, I came to Coventry with 32 kilograms of my luggage, here to pursue a PhD, and now you're asking me to hold a mirror that reflects who you were, not right now, but in the 1960s. Njani, guys? And I thought, easy. You see the hello nice, hello my size that I used to hear in Dube Road as I walked from Iso Garage all the way to 984 Dlamini. Was a small collection of narratives that showed me how each household had a different beat. And now in Coventry, there was no difference. It might not be hello nice, hello my size, but it's hello, how's it, mate? Would you like a cup of tea? And no, when they say, would you like a cup of tea? Please don't show up for a cup of tea. They are being polite. It's not like in South Africa when you meet someone at Shell Garage and they say, would you like a chop and dop? And then you later show up at the braai because they really meant come over for a chop and a dop. I discovered that similar to South Africa, where we've got our calabash, they too have objects and artifacts that sew them together as a nation. The project that I was tasked with was, how would you actually turn the homes of those that worked in 1969 into living collections of museums that come to life through theater? To be honest, I didn't know. But what I needed to do is to remember the calabash that was given to me by my grandmother and ask myself, what did my grandmother's generation do in Coventry that I can take as one beat that will add to another beat and another beat that I can then bring together to create a cacophony of sounds that will represent the history past and the history that is evolving? Humans at Work became a play that allowed people to see where they come from as a nation. But NobuLali Dangazele became a DJ, a musician, a maestro of sorts, saying, you know what? There is more that connects us than that divides us. So as opposed to thinking of myself as an individual that comes from the dusty streets of Soweto and now lives in Birmingham, I started thinking of myself as a transnational. My personal pronouns were hello and goodbye, here and there. Because what I realized is I don't have to choose either or. We are living in a time where we can have the best of both worlds. I spend 50% of my time living in South Africa, 50% of my time living in the UK, and another 50% of my time living in the world. Mathematically, it doesn't add up, but that's the thing. When you start curating the magic of your own life and you create a beat, you don't have to play to anyone's tune or live up to anybody's expectation, because the scriptwriter becomes you, the storyteller becomes you. Dare I say, the DJ of the latest Amapiano song becomes you. If you were to dance to the beat of your heart, your passion, your desire, what would that sound like? Thank you.